How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Old School Weekly Recap. Let's take a look back at the past 7 days. This week's update included the Master Clue Scroll reward item. Players who complete 100 Master level Clue Scrolls will now receive this hefty sack of clues. The Cowfight Queen now has a guaranteed drop of a tattered Cowfight Queen head once you hit 256 kills. The tattered head can be used to create a trophy in your player-owned house, but not to create the Cowfight Slayer helm. You can now receive reminders to collect items from the Grand Exchange when you log in. To toggle this feature on, talk to a Grand Exchange clerk. And finally, the giant yellow arrow, which appears for players who aren't progressing through Tutorial Island very quickly, has now been replaced with a message box which provides a bit more information. Of course, there were further bug fixes and tweaks. For all the details, please read the news post linked in the description. On top of update information, this week's news post also included an in-depth breakdown of the mobile Spellbook rework by Mod Ash. He goes into detail talking about the various challenges of the update and his approach to overcoming them. Further to this, Ash showed off the progress he has made with the Spellbook on this week's Q&A.
We now have some filters because these buttons are really small and my thumb covers the whole blinking spellbook. I can take out the spells I don't have the magic level to cast so that there are now fewer and my thumb isn't covering lots of them all at the same time. I can also take out, the teleport spells or the utility spells or both, and now there are so few spells being shown that I have great big icons. Whopping great big ones that you can even see from where you are. Give me an ogre. And now I can cast these spells a little more conveniently on the ogre.
If you're enjoying playing Old School on mobile, remember to leave a review on the Play Store. This helps people find the app once the official launch arrives, and will guarantee you see many more cute noobs roaming around the game. You can find a link to do this in the description. RuneFest is finally here. The event kicks off tomorrow on Saturday, October 6th. This year, it will be streamed live on twitch.tv/Jagex, a new Twitch channel. Be sure to follow it ASAP so you are notified when the live stream begins. The Old School Twitter account will be keeping you up to date throughout the day, with 2 separate Twitter threads for both players attending the event and those watching from home. A news post is linked in the description, which includes all of the information and links you might need, including all of the social platforms where you might be able to get a bit of extra content, and the full schedule for the day. And trust me, I've got a bit of inside info on this. You do not want to miss it. And despite the team saving up so many juicy announcements for RuneFest, somehow, ModWest has still managed to squeeze out another developer blog this week, detailing his concept for a further rework of Zeah. The blog was fairly large and focused on the Hosidius House. It was a very enjoyable read, and I highly recommend you go and read the entire thing. But if you don't fancy doing so, here are the cliff notes. ModWest feels that reducing the enormity of the buildings found in Zeah will help the continent feel more natural, less bloated, and will bring players closer together, overall making the continent feel as populated as it actually is. He discusses significantly reducing the size of the Tithe Farm and relocating it to a less in-the-way location. The move of the Tithe Farm would make room for a new, homely feeling town, Hosidius Town. This would be mostly made up of existing buildings which have been relocated. West also proposed a new dungeon, the Ruined Temple Dungeon. The dungeon would contain a number of mobs to kill, such as undead druids, red spiders, and red dragons, and it would also contain an NPC who would charge a slightly higher amount than usual to tan your hides. Castle Town is a new town formed around the Castle of Korend. This helps separate the castle from the Hosidius House and makes it feel like a distinct area. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these are just the cliff notes. Much more detail can be found in the blog, and ModWest is eager to hear your feedback. And to finish off this week's recap, let's take a look at the community spotlight. This week, I would like to echo a very important announcement. The Old School Wiki is one of the top resources for any Old School player, and the community responsible for running the wiki have moved to an independent platform to give them more control over how it runs. You can find the new Old School Wiki at oldschool.runescape.wiki, nice and easy to remember, but make sure to add it to your bookmarks for rapid access, and go enjoy the content produced by that incredible community. Anyway, that is all for this week's recap. Thank you all for watching, have a great week, and I will see you next Friday.